Hello, everybody. Welcome to the studio this evening. I had a little scare with the start of the live stream. It didn't want to go. All I could see was black when I started it. I thought we were going to have an issue again tonight, but I have faith. We're plowing ahead, and we're going to do fantastic. Tonight, we're going to paint the shipwreck. I drew out my representation of that image. This ship is just kind of plowed into the shore. It's just sitting there. It's stuck. It can't do anything. We're going to jump right in and do this. A couple of things. I've changed brushes that I usually use. I've switched over, for the time being, to a Da Vinci Casaneo brush, and we can talk more about that later on if you would like. And my paper is Fabriano Studio watercolor paper. And with that, I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to start with the sky. I'm going to go with a little cerulean. I've got some blue that's already mixed in here. It's going to get a little bit dirty, but this cerulean will lighten it back up. A nice light sky up here. In fact, I'm going to go to my largest brush that I've got here. This is a size 10. It's quite large. Holds quite a bit of water in it. And I'm just going to start with just a light wash for my sky. I don't do typically too much with my skies. I want them to be in the background. I want you to notice them, that they're there. There's something something shining through. You can see it back there, but I don't want to dwell on it. This isn't a painting, I don't think, that's going to require a dramatic sky. So I don't have to put a whole lot of clouds in there or anything like that. I just need to get some blue on here for my background behind everything. I'm going to go kind of like that. If I want to make it a little brighter in the corner, I can do a little bit of color there. And I'm just going to pull it out. I think I've got plenty of paint here. Just run that right over there, and this is going to outline the ship here. This poor guy is run right aground. Let's see, I'm going to go right over this railing here too, this first railing. I'm just going to go right over the top of that. Shoo, there we go. And finishing it up on this side. And this, of course, it's going to dry quite a bit lighter than it is. It really won't be much of a sky here, but that's okay. I don't need a whole lot of sky behind the ship. Like I said, this ship is going to be pretty dramatic. It's a large ship. It takes up a large amount of real estate in the center of the paper here. So as long as there's some blue behind it, as long as you know there's a sky back there, your eye's not going to think anything is wrong with it not having this giant blue sky back there or anything like that. Just pulling off a little bit of extra moisture here so it doesn't create a back run. I really don't want that. And with that, I think we're pretty good. Over there, Kenya is here. Hello, Kenya. Welcome. Hope you found your way back here after the first of the year, or I guess I should say, I see that you found your way back here after the first of the year. Thank you for joining me this Wednesday. I hope you've had a great start to your week, and I'm going to do everything I can to make you the next hour for you enjoyable. Let's see, what's the next thing I'm going to do? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a little bit of, let's see, I'm going to paint a little bit of the water here. So I'm going to tone my color down a little more aqua, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of neutral tint in there. I don't want it to be super blue, so I'm going to tone it down, and that neutral tint is a little biased towards the purple. And I'm going to put my water line on here. If I go over a rock or two, that's okay. There will be other layers that we can get on here. And those rocks, I'm sure those rocks are going to be quite bold, and there will be plenty of time for us to go over top of this water. Kenya, I hope you had. It's been a while. I haven't streamed since mid-December last year. I hope you had a fantastic. You love the ship. Thank you. Great photo source. I hope you had a fantastic holiday season. Hope you get to spend some time with some loved ones and really just spend some good time with some good people around you. I always like when that's able to happen. It's not able to happen for everybody, I guess I should say. That's not always a lot of fun when you're not able to spend some time with your loved ones or be around those that you wish you could be for one reason or another. It's quite tough, so I hope you were able to spend some time. There we go. I've got some water on there, just a little bit. And again, we'll be going over that. And I'm all off center, aren't I? Hold on one second. Let me see if I can. How do I do this? This one, I want it to be centered right there. That's a little better. Let's go with that. Oh, now I've got to undo it. There we go. Sudike is here. Hello, Sudike. Yes, Happy New Year. You did enjoy. Kenya says you did enjoy the holidays. And you hope mine was wonderful. I've got a few stories. As always, I've got a few stories to share. But in general, I had a pretty good holiday. Thank you for that. I'm looking forward to doing some painting. I do have a really odd story about painting. I'll be honest with you. I didn't do a whole lot of painting for my first week off. I think roughly the first week I was off. And then I went, you know what? I need to do some painting, something. I got to get back into it. It's been a week since I've touched a brush or put some paint to paper. I need to do something. And I started, and then I forgot how to paint. It feels like I forgot. It feels like I totally forgot how to paint. I shouldn't say that, but I started to do. In fact, I've got a few things I'll show you here later on if you have an interest in seeing how badly I was painting there for a very short amount of time. I don't think I really forgot how to paint, but it was touch and go there for a couple of minutes. Okay, so where I'm at now, I've got my sky slightly damp up here. I should say it's no longer wet where I'm at. We had about a week and a half of rain. The rain has gone away. It's dried up again. Our humidity has dropped way back down, so I'm expecting that my paper will dry pretty quickly. That's just slightly damp. I can tell it's a little bit cool when I touch it. My water down here is cold. My water down here is still damp. So I don't want to do the ship here quite yet. And I don't want to do the rocks and this little bit of shoreline quite yet. I'm just going to sit here and babble and talk about other things until it's a little bit drier. So last year I said I was going to start painting more in a looser, more impressionistic style. And I tried. And actually what I did was I walked around my town and I took a whole bunch of pictures. Let me get a couple of these out. I've got them here. Here's one of them. And I guess this is probably, if I were to guess, I would say this is like halfway done. And I went, oh, that's terrible. I don't like it. Well, I don't know if it's terrible or not, but I don't like it. And then I have this picture. This is a little, you can't even tell. This is even less done. This is a little creek that flows from behind this. This is an actual tree. This is a big root ball and some rocks. I don't even have the rocks painted in here. I was like, that's terrible. I don't like that. So I tried another one, and I went, okay, this one's not too bad. I'm kind of getting there a little bit. but it was a bit discouraging to paint like that. And this is one of the corners on my town right here. It turns and goes up the street, and a couple of buildings back here and whatnot. I don't know, the proportions weren't quite right. It didn't quite look right. And then I said, maybe I'm going a little bit too big. Maybe I want to just dial it back for a minute or two and see if I can paint some other stuff. And so then I went, well, I'm going to see. We have a whole bunch. I can't set this down. We have a whole bunch of these around the trails, right? Just a telephone pole with some rope wrapped around them, and then they kind of mark the trails where you walk. This one's kind of upside down and right side up, and I kind of did it in a couple of different ways. This one, I painted every individual thing individually, right? And I painted that, and then I painted that, and then I painted the rope, and then I painted this bit, and then I painted that bit, and then I painted this bit, and then I painted the rope, and then, so all individual. And I went, okay, that's not so bad. And then let's see, this one over here, I did a layer, and then I did a bigger layer, and I did, yeah. Anyway, this one is supposed to be a little bit looser. It may not look a whole lot looser, but for me, this is a bit looser. I guess it kind of looks a little looser, whatnot. And then this was kind of a hybrid between the two of them that I did. Actually, this is the one I like the most. My colors aren't quite as rich in here, but I like this one better than the other ones. That first one kind of looks like Crescent City. This one? That one looks like Crescent City, or this one. This is a little dock right here behind some shops in the pier that comes out. There's a whole bunch of boats out there. What's that one? That one's a tree. So that was me talking myself off the ledge. I've forgotten how to paint. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And then I went, oh yeah, I didn't forget how to paint. I just didn't do it right. Okay. Enough of me babbling about whatever I did or didn't do. Yeah. Okay, let's get on with painting a boat. And for me, I'm looking at this old boat, right? Regardless of what that image is, and I can bring that image up and you can see it a little bit better. In fact, I'll do that while I'm talking, and then you can see what I'm talking about. Where is that? Here you go. So when I look at this, what I see is a large boat painted white-ish above the waterline and red-ish below the waterline. Now, that image is a bit dark, and it's hard in some places to see where the good rusty bits could be coming in. So I'm going to, on the top bit here, I'm going to let this be a little bit lighter, and on the bottom bit, still that dark red color, but I want that light part to be lighter so we can see some good rust coming off the top of the ship. Suika says, did anyone get or buy any new art supplies for the holidays? I will admit, I didn't. I didn't get any art supplies for the holidays. Sudike, I'm assuming, since you're asking, that hopefully you did. Kenya says, my son gifted me a pack of handmade watercolor paper from India. Kata paper. That's fantastic. It's a beautiful cream color. I use it for line and wash drawings. Ooh, and it's real, Kenya, it's real textured, right? It's got this really great deep pits to it. I'll bet you. Does it? I'll bet it does. I've used some paper like that, and it's, well, in my experience, or I should say, at least I had to be a little careful of what I was painting, because You don't necessarily, with all that pitting, if it's the paper, yes. So you don't necessarily get to paint a straight line because all of those pits and bumps and holes and dodges and all that stuff, they all cause all this irregularity in your paint or in the pattern that you're painting. And some people look at it and they go, "Oh, it's so terrible because it's not flat and it's got all these weird grooves and textures and stuff." And then other people, you can count me in there, look at it and go, "Oh my God, it's fantastic because it's got all of that stuff in there." And it forces you to not necessarily think just form, but think color more than anything. So I haven't used a lot of it, but I've had some pages of it, and it's been absolutely fantastic when I've used it. So that's a great score. I'm trying to think, what did I get for Christmas? I don't know. I don't want to say nobody got me anything. I got a new fishing reel. I think though I'm pretty set with my art supplies. I've got so many. Suzuki says you bought some Hahnemühle sugarcane paper. 70% sugarcane, 30% cotton. Oh, now, okay, I'm curious. So you got to make a report when you use it and tell us what the properties are. I'm racking my brain to think what sugarcane would be like. I don't know if I've used anything even close to that. Sugarcane paper. Right? The paper that I'm using right now is 25% cotton, something like that. And it's fine. You can tell it has a slightly lower cotton. Is there such a thing as enough art supply? Well, there are. I've got two kids who are who are teenagers, and they take up many resources. So I have to divert some of those resources to paying for my kids. But in general, you're right on. No, you never have too many art supplies. Art supplies are one of those things that you're always going to use, and even if you don't, they're great to have because you might. Okay, so I've got this bit on. I'm going to quickly paint our tower back here. I'm not going to put a lot of detail on this yet. I'm just blocking in some color, and I don't have to worry too much about it because we're going to go back over it again. Whoop, something like, looks like I forgot to draw a line on here between these two decks, these two heights. I don't know what we call these things. Two stories. There you go. Between these two stories. Natalie is here. Welcome, Natalie. Natalie, I hope you had a wonderful holiday. I don't remember. Did you say you were going to get to spend it with some grandkids? Some grandbabies? I hope. That would be fun. All right, there we go. I just put some color there. And we're talking holidays. I want to change the subject from holidays a little bit. I was thinking about it, right? I don't do a lot with New Year's resolutions, but I want to make a watercolor resolution. And the first one I think is going to be easy for me to keep up. Excuse me. And the first one is I want to live stream. I'm gonna talk about it while I'm mixing some paint here. I want to live stream 45 times this year. Right, that's my goal, 45 times. That gives me times for a vacation or two here and there without being too worried about having to come out and stream. You know, am I going to make it? I don't know. Gives me a little slack in there. Oh, they're here. Oh, okay, Natalie, your grandkids are here. That's so good. So 45 times streaming and 12. I'm setting myself a goal of 12 traditional offline or asynchronous videos, however you would normally, or whatever you would normally call them. I guess I would kind of call them an asynchronous video. You can watch them whenever you want. So for me, that's my goal. 45 live streams and 12 traditional, I guess I'd call them traditional videos. I don't know if anybody else makes New Year's resolutions or not. I used to not do resolutions, but the more I'm at work, the more I use them at my work, where I'm, not this work, my actual day job. The more I tend to use them as goal-setting measures. I try not to call them a resolution, but they're for goal setting, and I try to help my team understand how they can set short or long-term goals for themselves by making a resolution for things. All right, I'm gonna step down off of the soapbox for a moment, and I'm just dropping some color into a few of these rocks that are out there. I do want to get in a couple of different colors in here, right? All rocks are rock color. Some rocks are more colorful than others. So this rock happens to have a wonderful ochre sheen to it. This one maybe not quite so much, but we'll get a little bit in there. And then some of this blue-gray-ish color on the back side. Maybe the sun is coming in at this angle, and this front side where that ochre color is, maybe that gets a little bit more sunshine, and it dries out a little bit on that back side. Back over here, it doesn't dry out or get quite as much sun, and gets a little bit more of that, I don't know, just sea stuff. I don't know what it's called. sea moss, sea stuff kind of growing on it back over here. So that's over there. Maybe there's a little pocket in that rock there. There we go. So a couple of rocks I'm going to get going here, and I'm just going to keep doing that. And really what I'm doing, I shouldn't have started with this one. I should have started with this one. I'm trying to work left to right, and I'm waiting for this to dry. I've still got a big puddle right. See if you can see that shine off of it. Or not. You have to take my word for it. That's still wet right there. So I didn't, but did anybody go anywhere for Christmas, or did everybody have people come to visit them like Natalie did? I went to see my mother-in-law, but that doesn't really count. She lives 3 blocks away. So it wasn't much travel. It literally is 2.5 minutes in the car. And we were there. Literally 2.5 minutes in the car. All right, let's see. I got this big old rock here. Now, some of these I can paint kind of as a group because they touch. These ones that are out a little separate, you kind of have to paint separate, but let's see what we can do here. And I as you can see, I don't have my King Art brushes. I have Da Vinci Casaneo brushes. I was hoping to be able to use these. Well, here was the plan. I was hoping to be able to use a whole series of these, which hold a huge amount of water in them, when I was loosening up my paintings. And I think, having used the King art brushes for so long, it's kind of made me not so good with those those mop brushes, those quill brushes. And I needed to have something kind of intermediate, and these fit the bill. And I actually really do like these. I used these for a long time. These particular brushes, these Casaneo brushes, were in my travel set for a long, or one of my travel sets, I guess I should say, for a long time. So for years, anytime I painted plein air outside, I used these brushes, and they are fantastic. Da Vinci, if you're listening and you want to help me out. Oops. I held it up in that one. Look, it's all worn off on that one. There you guys can see it. Da Vinci Casaneo brushes. They don't come to the greatest point in the world, but boy, do they feel nice when you paint with them. Kenny says, I didn't travel, but I'll be going to Florida next week. Ooh, this is a good time to go to Florida, isn't it? It's not too hot, as it gets in Florida from time to time. We're not in hurricane season, so you're not in danger of being blown away. This is probably a fantastic time to go to Florida. Well, that'll be fun. Kenya, how long are you going to stay? A couple days, a week? Kenya says, I have a few of those brushes. You do like them. Okay, I'm going to ask, what do you like the same things about these that I just talked about? Because I like the fact that they're soft. It's a very soft bristle, but fairly springy. They've retained a bunch of that springiness in them, and they hold an absolute ton of water in them. And they're very easy to use. About 10 days. Ooh, that'll be fun. That will be fun. I will admit to not being the biggest world traveler. I'm very contented where I'm at. I like everything that happens around me. And my coworkers at work make fun of me because of that. They all go off on trips. One guy and his girlfriend went up to Reno a couple of weeks ago. Another guy on my team went up to Yellowstone. One guy's constantly going up to Oregon. Did you go to Oregon? I don't know. Anyways, everybody travels but me. And I stay where I'm at. So I get to travel vicariously through everybody else, and that is just fine with me. I will admit that it makes it a little awkward sometimes when I talk to everybody else some other people that I work with, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just got back from a week in Tahiti or what did you do over break?" And I went, "Yeah, I don't know. I went to the grocery store. I don't know." Kenya, what part of Florida? Can I ask? What part of Florida are you going to? The down south, up along the Panhandle, Central Florida, and feel free to say you don't want anybody to know. That's fine too. We've got a few extra people here. I don't know who's here. If you've, excuse me, if you're here and you haven't seen my channel before, say hi. I'm the original homebody. Thank you, Siddiqui. I'm with you. If you're new here, say hi. excuse me, let me know where you're viewing from, or you're calling from. I almost said where you're watching me at. Feel free to ask questions. I love answering questions. I love talking while I'm painting. That's, I'm going to talk while I paint, whether I'm online or whether I'm not online. And if you ask questions or talk about something, we'll talk about what you want to talk about rather than what I want to talk about. So there you go. I used to live on the coast of the South China Sea. There was a wrecked ship on the coral reef. This painting reminds me of that view I woke up to every day. Wow. Sarasota. Okay, cool. Sarasota. Nice. Nice. This reminds you of a shipwreck on the side. I don't know where this is from. I've no clue, and sometimes I don't, and I don't really look, to tell you the truth. I look for an image that I think is nice that I want to use. I'm just putting on some color. We're gonna make this look nice in a little bit, right? This is like layer one of just some basic color that I'm putting on here. The fact that I had it upside down just makes it a little easier for me to see where I'm putting this color on. That's all that's about. Let's see what I had some things I was going to talk about. I fixed it. I fixed, right? I'm going to use some air quotes here. I fixed my palette over here. My palette used to be at the same inclination as my table. So the table I'm painting on is slanted at, 5-8 degrees. Somewhere in that range, 5 to 8 degrees. And my palette used to also be slanted at that same rate, which is why you guys would often see my paint run down to the bottom and then it would pool up down there. Well, I kind of got tired of that happening, and I changed it, and so it's mostly flat now, but it's only flat in one direction. It's flat this way, but it's crooked this way, if that makes any sense at all. I flattened it in one direction and ruined it in another direction. Par for the course with what I do. All right, cool. So I'm looking at this, and this all could have been a little bit lighter up here. It's still slightly damp. Maybe it's going to lighten a bit more. I'm hoping. I might come in and take a little bit of color off in a couple of places before we put on some rust. But I like where this is going, right? I like our rocks out here. I'm hoping that when I darken this water in here, put something in this water, and this is a little bit of beach area here, so we'll do some sandy area in here, that I don't lose that these rocks just pop off of here. I like that. I think we're going to darken this area back here, and I actually wish I hadn't made that line up with this line. We'll probably extend these trees up a little bit to make that break. I didn't realize I did that. And I think for the boat, once we get our shadows on here, it's going to look better. It looks pretty flat right now. That might look pushed a little bit back, but it's pretty flat. I think what I'm going to do in the very short term before we do anything else is I'm going to put in some of this beach color here, and it's just going to be brown, right? It's not going to be too much different than the color of the rocks. It can't be too much different than those, but it's going to be a little bit different, and if we run over in a place or two, that's okay. I'm going to try not to worry about it all that much this year. I'm kind try not to sweat the little details too much, knowing that we've got at least another layer where we can correct this, and we're trying to just to lay down some nice color to start with here. And once we get this in, hopefully we'll be a little bit drier up here, and we can really get that shadow. I want to let that dry really well up there. All right, and a little bit of color back here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Dun, 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 dun. So this month, I don't know why. I guess it's because I painted these things. I guess it was because I painted these. I can do it this way. That I thought, well, let's do a nautical theme this month. So I've got a shipwreck here. I've got a, I thought it was a hysterical, I've already done the drawing for it. I have a penguin that is dressed up like a pirate. That's going to be fun to do. What else am I going to do? I don't know. I've got a few nautical things that I think we're going to be able to do this month. It should be fun. I hope it's going to be a fun month. It's always a fun month. Even when the painting is not great, it's fun. I say that knowing that I'm the one doing the painting. All right, I'm gonna try. Let's see. I'm gonna try to come in here. I'm gonna follow along with what I think needs to happen. A little shadow under here, back there. This whole side is going to be in shadow, 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 shadow. That shadow all the way down. Anything else in shadow back there? Try not to put my elbow or my hand in any wet paint. Let's see if we can not do that. That would probably be a good thing. Got a little bit of shadow back here maybe. Behind. I'm going to put a line right there. Maybe there's a window there. And I think that starts to get some shadowing on our boat. A penguin dressed up as I'm pretty sure I've got him over there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm going to do this year some crazy mashup paintings. I don't know if I'm going to do them here on a live stream, but I'm going to be doing some crazy mashup paintings. I was playing around with ChatGPT, I don't know, a while ago, and just gave it some prompts, and it gave me back some hysterical renderings. And so I was like, okay, I like that. I think I can work with this. This will be a fantastically fun painting to do. And so I'm gonna paint a few of those. And I will definitely post those in Discord. I'll post those on social medias. I will post those. Oh, I should be doing this a little bit darker too, shouldn't I? I'll post those everywhere. So if I don't do them on a live stream, you'll get to see them. This needs to come down. This needs to all be in shadow. I don't know what I'm doing. Shadow, shadow, shadow. Come on, this is all dark over here. But I've got one section of my wall at work where I have all my crazy paintings, and everybody who walks past my office looks at it and goes, "Oh my gosh, that stuff is hysterical." And I'm always like, why don't I do a little bit more of that? I should do a little bit more of that. And so I'm going to do a little bit more of that. And it's fun to do. Every time I look at some of that, it just makes me giggle because it's fun. Okay, so I've got to come out to about here, and then I've really got to start blending this out. Of course, down here it can extend a little bit more. But this is going to be my first layer of shadow here, and I don't know how this is really going to look, but we're going to figure it out. We're totally going to figure this out. One thing I guess I have to have confidence in is even if it doesn't turn out right, I can make it look pretty good. Okay, if it doesn't turn out right, I can still make it look pretty good. It's going to be fine. It's going to totally be fine. I don't like the way this is blending out, though, to tell you the truth. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It's going to be all right. And then this can come way out down here. That's way under. And I think when this dries, this will be okay. I don't think I have the right brush for blending this, or I don't have the right feel for blending this out with this brush. I think that's the way to say it. Okay. Let me get out from underneath there. There we go. So we've got a little bit of shadow on there. I think we're going to add a darker layer kind of in here again. But you get the feeling that it's lighter back here. There's sun coming from back here, and as that bow turns in, it gets a little darker. That's what we want. That's totally what we want. I'm going to put a little bit of dark back here too. All right, hopefully this will help keep that looking round. So you guys let me know. If you want me to, because I get requests on both sides of this. You guys let me know if you want me to paint and tell stories, and we have a kind of a more of a conversation and just have some enjoyable time together here on a Wednesday night, or if you want me to do more of a lesson and talk more about the paint or why I'm painting it this way, you guys let me know, and I'll adjust to whatever you think. I'm willing to go either way with it. I like just talking and painting, but I totally get it, and I totally am willing to do more of a real lesson in painting too. Not that everybody should be taking lessons from me, but I'm willing to do anything. Let's see. What am I going to do now? I'm going to start adding a little color to this water. I'm going to start darkening some of this water up. Okay, you want both. That's why you want both. Okay, you got it. I'm always willing to, because I enjoy doing it too. I'm always willing to stop and do a little test or a little trial. I've got some scraps of paper down here, so I really like when you guys say, "Hey, how would you do this?" or "What do these colors look like together?" or when we do that kind of thing, and it sometimes it seems funny to me that I'm doing a live stream and I just kind of stop the live stream, stop whatever I'm painting to do a test of something else. But also, man, that's the cool part about doing the live stream is you're not bound by any regulation. You just kind of, cool, you want to see this sounds interesting, everybody wants to see it, let's just do it. That's part of what really makes it fun. Let's see, I'm going to put a little something here. So So okay, if you guys want me to, do that, I'm totally fine with that. I'm hoping I can cover. Just tell you what I'm doing here. I'm hoping I can cover quite a bit of this water and darken quite a bit of it up. I don't necessarily want a lot of light areas here. Ooh, that one came out a little funky. That's all right. That's okay. And our boat, yes, our boat needs quite a bit more of this color. Maybe I don't have enough of this color. I need more color. I need more paint. I need more. Speaking, I need more art supplies. I need more. I don't have enough. I don't know. Let's bring this. Let's bring this out here somewhere. I know I just went over that shadow that I just painted on there. That's okay. That's all right. Hopefully it's not about getting that one shadow just right. It's about getting all of them kind of close. That's a terrible thing to say. It's a terrible way to say it. But it's kind of true. If we can get close to, what you see in your mind when you do it, you're probably going to end up with something that's pretty good. You really probably are. Let's give some shadow areas to these over here too, right? Here's a rock right here. That probably needs a nice shadow underneath it. Here, a little bit more on that brown. This is a little bit of a warmer shadow because it's on that sand. But it's got some blue in it. Just give me a little bit of that blue up inside there, or this neutral tint even. Ooh, that's neutral tint is so strong. It wets so quickly and comes out of that so fast. All right, that's weird. That's just weird. This has got to go way back there. It's still wet. We can do whatever we want to with it. I don't know. Let's do that. That's weird the other way now, but it's fine. It's going to be fine. It's totally going to be fine. Our sun's coming in kind of this way, and our shadows are all goofed up, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's going to be totally fine. All right, so what do I have that's wet and what do I have that's dry? What can I play around with? I'm gonna drop down a little bit of a brush size, and I'm gonna get, this is my darker colors, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. And I'm gonna give a little bit of dark here, a little bit of dark here. I'm gonna just kind of outline some areas here where there probably ought to be. Let's see, there's a door here and there's a window there, it looks like, and a window there. Where's my darks? I want to get some of this stuff on before I move on to other areas, knowing that I have a tendency of just painting over things and not coming back to them. I think the thing I want to do here too is I want to just touch along here. Just, come on, this is not, work with me here. There you go. All right, I needed a little bit more water. I think I was pulling a little too much water off. It pulls water off. Water comes off this brush at a little different rate than the ones, than the King Art ones that I normally use. So it felt a little weird. Okay, so Now what I'm going to do, this is, okay, so this is one thing I like to do too. I've got these rocks in here. Now I can start separating them. All right, now I can start making more rocks on the beach. Let's see, that one probably goes like that. This is when it's fun. This is when things start to come together a little bit. Right? As we move out that way, maybe it lightens up a little bit. We've got a little bit more of this ochre-y color in there. And before we know it, that rock now sits in front of that rock. Sweet! Now we can do the same thing on this rock. Way back here, darker area, darker color. All right, let's come out with some of that. As we move out, we'll lighten this up a little bit. And way out here, we've got some of this ochre-y color. And we should, we've done it right, end up with a rock that still stands out. But doesn't run into that one. All of a sudden, yes, it worked. Yes, look, we've got two rocks. One definitely right in front of that other one. Oh, federal agent is here. All right. I didn't know we had a federal agent among us. Federal agent, I hope you're having a good Wednesday. And this is looking great. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't we have? Are the names right on the screen? Didn't we have a weird blip a couple of weeks ago where all the names were all flipped and they were goofy? Didn't we? Was that a thing, or am I imagining that? I think that was a thing, wasn't it? I don't know. Federal agent. I don't know if you've been here before, but if you have, welcome back. And I'm sorry I don't remember, but if you've got any questions about anything, throw them out there. I love talking while I'm painting. I love the interaction. And yeah, just ask questions away. If I don't know, I guarantee that if I don't know something, somebody here will know something. Okay, Kenya, thank you. We did have that happen, and it looks like it's fixed now, right? It looks like it's fixed because we all have the right. It looks like everybody has the right name back. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what that was about, but look at that. We got another rock right there, and that one looks good. It looked good. It looked all marbled. Not like marble color, but I love the different colors on them. I should say it that way. I love that they all have different colors. Trying to keep in the same color scheme. But it's getting there. It's getting there. And then when I'm done with a couple of rocks here, I don't know that I'm going to do all of them right now. We're obviously going to do a few of them. And then we're going to come and we're going to work on our shadowing for the boat here. I think that needs to get much darker. That's a much deeper shadow over there. It really, I'll pick it up and show it to you. It really got granular in there. Like a little odd granular. Mr. Federal Agent says the baby just went down for a nap, or went down to bed. So he went down to bed. So he thought he would stop by. And you all don't know it. He actually has been here before. Except he was not federal. He was not a federal agent then. He was Mr. Federal. Anyways, I work with him. Fantastic guy. Thank you for stopping by. We're holding things down at work for you. Just so you know. I shouldn't have said it. Nobody ask him any questions about what I'm like at work. It's not allowed. I'm just like I am here while I'm at work. Only even nicer. Let's see. Let's do another rock here. I really like this one up here. I think that one looks really good. Let's see, we got about a dozen people in here, so I'll throw it out there again. If you haven't been here before, say hello. I don't bite. I love talking to people. Throw something out there to talk about. It's probably going to be more fun to talk about what you want to talk about than what I want to talk about. So throw it out there. Say hi. If you're into watercolors, awesome. Let's talk watercolors. What kind of things you like to paint? What styles you paint in? When and where you paint. If you're not into watercolors, that's cool too. Let's talk about what brought you here, right? Let's see. I think I'm gonna do this little guy over here. Nice and dark on the back side here, and then lighter as we go out. You don't have to say that, Mr. Federal Agent. You don't have to say that. That's all right. It's okay. It's all good. Ooh, that's a really good rock. I don't know why that excites me. That's a really good looking rock right there. I will ask you all one thing. If you're here, and I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if anybody has done it yet or not. But if you would, it would help me out with my algorithm, my YouTube algorithm. If you'd be so kind as to hit the like button, that'd be great. That'll push me up the YouTube algorithm a little bit. I don't have the greatest numbers on here, and that's okay. I don't need the greatest numbers. I really enjoy the group that we have here, so I'm happy to keep my numbers where they are. But maybe we can go up a little bit. Would be great. So if you'd be willing to do that, go ahead and hit that like button. Yeah, look at these. Okay, so I got these rocks. The rocks got a little bit darker. The water got a little bit lighter, and all of a sudden, look at the contrast between them. You're not looking at the shape of the shadow anymore. You're just looking that there is that shadow, and you're like going, "Oh, that shadow looks great." All right, let's see. I can't not do it. I got to do this big rock right now. Gotta do this big rock. I have to. Somebody said something. I like the texture on the latest rock. This one here. I think I'll hold it up so you can see. Oh, I was going to hold it up so you could see the texturing of the boat here. I think it's a bit much. I'll let you guys see it here. Just give me a second. Yeah, you get these colors on in the right proportions, and man, they look great. They look fantastic. Ooh, okay, that's a good, that rock is nice and smooth. That one's been in the water a long time. Been battered by waves, smoothed out. What I shouldn't have rounded the end off there, but look, you can see. Look, they look like rocks. Look, that's how rocks look, mostly. And those ones back there they were so bold in color when we put them on first, and now look, they've lightened way up. Well, they got a cool look. And then look how much that granulated up there. It dropped out so much. But we really got to darken that up. When we darken this up, it's going to help to make that look a little bit lighter. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work to darken this area up. I'll blend it out. A dark line across the bottom, and then when this starts to dry, then we'll come back with another wash, and we will put on some rust running down the sides. What paper I'm using? This is let me grab it. This is my Fabriano Studio watercolor paper. I think that's it. Yeah, a little bit bigger. So Fabriano Studio, 25% cotton, which means 75% wood pulp. A nice big thick thing of it. This is the same paper that I had been using in that smaller form factor. I just happen to have bought a giant one at the same time. I'm also hoping to do some, slightly larger paintings this year. I like the 9:12 aspect ratio, but this is what, 12:16? Oh, this is 11:14. A little bit bigger, gives you a little bit opportunity to use a bigger brush, an opportunity to, just be a little bit more expressive. You're not working in such a tight little tiny area. Yeah, just that little bit more room. And then I'm going to use this, and this is my I tell everybody this is my Grail brush, and I don't use it because look, whoops, I should do it this way. Look, that the no matter what has happened, those bristles at the end just split. They do it all the time, and it makes me mad because this is not a cheap brush. In no way, shape, or form is this a cheap brush. So I'm determined to use it. I guess I've made a few. I guess I've made a few resolutions this year. I'm going to use different brushes. I'm going to use larger paper. I'm going to stream, hopefully, 45 times this year. 12 regular videos. Shoo, I think I'm going to have a lot going on. I'm going to have a lot going on. Huh? I'm going to have to get to work. Let's see. I just want to make a nice medium dark. I'm looking at that, and that's pretty dark color. Shoot, I can throw a little blue in there. A little bit of blue, I think, will help to set it off. But I don't want too much of it. I'm not the biggest. The 11:14 shows well on camera. Okay. Well, what did I say? I was going to do 45. And I've got roughly 50 sheets in there. I think it might work out well. I'll use one sheet each week. And away we go. The only problem is I know I've used several sheets in there in the past. But we'll figure all that stuff out. It's all good. It's all good. No, thank you for saying that. After the fiasco where my internet kept glitching out and we couldn't get a stream to last, and YouTube threw up those weird settings for me, and said, you need to change this. I changed all those. I think it's gotten, well, I know it's gotten better because we haven't blipped out since then. Well, I changed even more settings than that since then. And I think the stream has actually gotten even a little bit better. Almost makes me want to add that Twitch stream back in. I'm not quite there yet, but it almost makes me want to do that. And it makes me want to do it because I make money on my Twitch stream. I don't make money on my YouTube stream. And it's not a lot that I make, but every little bit helps. We all know art supplies aren't cheap. Oh, I guess I don't need art supplies. I have just enough paper, don't I? I have just enough paper to get me through the year. All right, if this is really dark, this should push this way, way back. It should. And I'm going to try to be really careful and go right along that shoreline. I know it's a rarity for me to be careful. Sometimes I don't like to be all that careful. Well, most of the time I like to be that careful. Sometimes it just doesn't come off as me being careful. I'm willing to experiment a little bit. Okay, so now this is a problem that I don't normally have, and I'm using a lot more water, and this is a larger sheet of paper, and so I'm starting to have a little buckling issue here. And I don't know if you can, there you can see it in the reflection right there. I'm starting to have a little buckling issue. The paper is wet. It didn't fully dry before you have just enough paper to get you through your lifetime. I doubt it. You're gonna get to some point and you're gonna go, you know what, if I just had that extra paper. I know I don't have enough. I know I have plenty, and I know it's not enough. I do. The person who doesn't know is my wife. She thinks I have plenty. She thinks I have more than enough. But I don't. I need more. You always need more. Different sizes, different textures. You want to experiment, so you need a couple that you just be trial by fire with. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of this color off and hopefully get a little bit of this moisture off of here too. I have a cloth, just dabbing my brush to dry it a little bit, wipe it off, and pull that top layer of water off of there. And I got to do something here or I'm going to get a big puddle in a back run. Honestly, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think this is going to be okay. I think this is going to dry and it's going to be okay. And I think it's going to look much like that. And if it doesn't, that'll be okay. I'll probably be a little disappointed with it, but it won't be too bad. Actually, now that I say that, I'm going to pull a little bit of the color from the top of this out. That makes me feel a little better. Pull some of this out. There we go. And as that bows down or bows around, then we've got a little bit more color. Okay, cool. Whew. All right. I'm going to live with that. I'm going to take a little bit more of this color here. And on our tower here, I'm just going to add a little bit. Should I have put these windows on? Probably not. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. There, and just a little bit back there. All right. So all I want to do is make it look like that shadow as it's coming down whatever you call that on the top of your ship, gets a little darker towards the bottom. That's all I want to do. The rest of this I kind of like. I like the sky up here, really light. This stands out against it. I like there's the water here. Maybe I'm going to do a couple of, just a little ripples in the water here and there. I actually like the shadow that's there. I think it needs to extend onto land here a little bit more. We'll get to it. It's not there yet. But what I do know is that I got a couple of more rocks here, and here that definitely need to be done. So while this is wet and we're waiting for that to dry, let's see if we can do this without me jabbing my hand into that and making a giant mess. I think we can do that. Possibly. Give me some of this umber, raw umber. Let's pull that out. And honestly, I think that yellow ochre that's there is probably enough. We just pull over that a little bit. But you all are quiet tonight, relatively quiet tonight. We need Liza here to ask some more questions. There we go. Now we got a rock right in the middle there. That's looking good. I like it. Let's make this one nice and dark right back there. Push it back behind this one. I should say, if you guys want to see me paint anything or tackle a topic, maybe you don't have a specific picture. Although, Natalie, you sent me a picture one time. I painted that bull or that cow, that longhorn cow. That was fun. I enjoyed painting that. Then, let me know. Let's see. My count stats is there are only 4 of us left. Oh, I've got 5. Maybe I count. I don't count. All right. Maybe I need to do something else. Maybe I do need to get a bigger crowd. I don't know. Oh, I've got an update for you. I do. I have an update for everybody. Cha-Cha has started laying eggs. How about that? And not only has Cha-Cha started laying eggs, but Cha-Cha has now taken to following me and my wife, I guess, everywhere. And she, meaning Cha-Cha, not my wife, wants to get and stay so close that she gets underfoot, and I actually on accident stepped on her one time. But I opened up the shed on Saturday to get her feed out. I opened up the shed on Saturday, and she walked past me and walked into the shed and laid down and went to sleep in there. I'm looking around for her, like, where are you? What's going on? Where are you at? I opened up the shed door because Frida was starting to get a little freaked out. Yeah, Cha-Cha's just in there like sawing logs. All right. Thanks, Cha-Cha. She followed me into the house. I opened up the side door, and she followed me right in. I picked her up. I set her back down outside, and before, I set her down, so I had to lean over, and before I could stand up and grab the door handle to close the door, she had already run back in the house again. I'm like, Cha-Cha, come on. Cut me a little slack here, Cha-Cha. I'm trying to close you out. So she's having fun being a pet chicken now. All of a sudden, it sounds like you got a chicken. Well, she's something else. So whenever she hears me, I open the door to walk outside. She will come running from the backyard into the side yard, or from the side yard into the backyard, whichever one. And if I don't acknowledge her when I go back in the house, she does this too. She'll knock at the door. She'll just take her beak and go boop, 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 like every 2 seconds, boop, boop, and start knocking. And I'm like, what is? First time I heard it, I'm like, what is the noise? What is going on? When I open the door, she's just going tick, 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 tick. Thank you, Cha-Cha. Why? Oh, she's so funny. She's so funny. She gets to be chicken number one now. That's how it works. You do something that's that funny, that cute, you get to be the top chicken. Let's see. So I'm just adding that shadow that I said we kind of needed. I think that does it right there. Now you got that whole block of shadow that goes up, and this is darker than this other stuff. It looks more like that other shadow, so I think we're good with that. Have I ever done monochromatic paintings? I have, but I haven't done any in a long, long time. Not because I don't want to do any, I just haven't done any. Monochromatic paintings can be incredibly difficult to do. They can be. They don't have to be. But trying to get the depth and layers in there sometimes is very, very difficult. If you want to see some monochromatic painting, I will take it on. I will attempt it. Okay, I'm mixing up a little bit of my I almost said Pyrrole Red. That's not right. This is Maroon Perylene and a little bit of my Burnt Umber. And I think that makes a fantastic rusty color. Ugh. And I could prove it to you if I could bend over and get a piece of paper. This is an old piece of paper and it's not in good condition. And so there's the color of rust that I like. You want it to go a little bit browner, that's okay. You want it to go a little bit redder, that's okay. But in general, the beautiful rusty color in there. And then I'll let this sit. Let's make this a little bigger so you can see it. That's the brown. Here's our maroon, and then here's our mix between them. And I'll let that sit and dry, and you can see, I'll pick it back up in a second, and you can see, what it's going to look like for rust. It's a beautiful rusty old color. So I'm thinking now, what do I need to do to come close to finishing this off? I've got a few things. There are a few things we need to do for sure. Let's not do that. Let's do this. All right, kind of the inside of that. And I had planned on, I will be quite honest, I had planned on shoot. Totally forgot what I was going to say I had planned on doing. I planned on doing something Does anybody else forget stuff every now and again? Is it just me? I hope it's not just me. You know what? Let's do this. While I'm thinking about it, we've got some of these portholes. Are all these dry? I don't know what these are called. Windows? Sega says that's a cool color combination. Let's just see how cool this color combination is in a second when it dries up here. I want to put these on. I was going to do these last. I was considering doing these last, I guess I should say. Because I wanted to be able to paint that rust before I put these on. But if I want to drip any rust out of those... Oh, I didn't do those straight at all, did I? That's okay. If I want to drip any rust out of those already need to be there. Let's see our color. Yeah, so see, we get this beautiful... If it's more of a reddish, rusty color, you can go there. If it's more of a browny, rusty color, you can go there. And then you've got a whole range of things in between. It's fantastic. It's really fantastic. I love it as a color. Oh, I know what I can do. Okay, cool. So we need to adjust our... I forget. I don't remember anything. Half the time I've forgotten what I forgot. Let's do... I'm going to paint some foliage back here. And you know what? I guess at this point, it's much less important to worry about that line, that it comes up to that line. But we'll do something like this. We're still going to kind of go around that a little bit. Right? It can be darker down here. Well, let's just get some color. Let's just get some color on her for a moment. Cobalt green, olive green. Let's get some color going on here. I specifically don't want this to go on in a really organized way. If that makes any sense. I want it to be kind of a bush here. So it can have some of these weird spots to it. It can have some darkness. It can have some light in here. I'm okay with a lot of this just being random. I just want to... There's something growing back there. I don't know what's growing back here. I have no idea what this is. But it's something... And there it is. And I'm done with it. There it is. So... Yeah, now that I see it, I left... It's got that little patch of light right up on, I don't know what you call that. It's about a quarter of the way from the right-hand side, halfway up. It's a little patch of light in there. And I drew it on, and I don't know why I drew it on, and I painted it on, and now that I look at it, it looks a little weird. I don't know that it makes a whole lot of sense, but I guess it's there. We'll leave it there. I guess. I don't know. I don't think we can do too much with it right now. Okay, what I am going to do is attempt to give a little bit of lineage here. Oh, I know. I had meant to draw a line around here and around here, right? And while we have all of our color out here, I think what I want to do is draw a big line. I don't know. My problem with boats is I don't know any nautical terms. There's a line here, a stringer, not a rail. Something right here. There's a support, a bump, I don't know what the term is. There it is. That runs up the side of that boat. I suppose it's for strength. I guess. I don't know. It's something like that. Okay. Whew. And I'm trying to think, do I want to put on, I want to do the railing around the top and the sides last, because I want to do some rust over here. So I've just messed up my rust here. Let me make some more rust. Done. Rust done. And I'm gonna put some mostly clear water here. I'm telling you how I'm gonna do it. I'm telling you how I'm gonna do it, and I don't know if it's gonna work, but it's gonna work. And then there's some big rusty spots on here. Rust going on. It might be a little redder than I wanted it to be. That's okay. Is any of this wet? No. Rust on this window. Let's get some wet up here. And I want it to be wet because I want it to run out of here, right? I want it to be big areas of rust. Lots of rust. Everybody likes rust. Got some rust up here. Got some rust over here that you can see. It doesn't have to be on there straight. It doesn't have to be on there well proportioned. Rust grows in all these weird ways. It just needs to be not uniform, or not, I don't know. It needs to be randomized, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right? Rust is rusty. It's weird. It gets all over everything, right? I could do it maybe with a little dry brush or drier brush here in that shadow area to show that there's some red tinting around. I don't want to go over that whole red area again, but I do want to show that there is some rust there. And I think we're getting there a little bit. Where are we at in time? I haven't even looked at the time. I've just been sitting down painting and jabbering away. And I have to say I've been having a great time doing it. We're at an hour and a half. Okay, that's cool. That's a perfect amount of time. Hour and a half. So let's do this. That didn't quite come out the way I wanted it, but it didn't come out too bad. I'm going to do a little bit here real fast. Rusty. I'm going to pull it down in some areas. Everybody's watching my rust. Red. Burnt umber. Rust. I should say the very first painting I ever sold was a rusty old boat. You guys didn't know that, I'll bet you. I kind of had forgotten all about that until just now. I don't know why I just thought about it. Painting rust, I guess, made me think about it. I think you all have heard me talk about PMP art, paint my picture art, and how I used to get images from them. And when I started painting watercolors, I used to post on there all the time, and I still do some stuff on there. I'll talk to some of the artists, and I'll enter their challenges from time to time, but I don't do too much on there anymore. But when, 20 years ago or so, when I was trying to learn watercolors, one of the things I did was I I went onto there and I found an image and painted it. This is great. I mean, this is what you do, right? That's what they want you to do. And then I posted that it's up for sale. Cool. Hey, this thing I painted is up for sale. And it was a boat. It was a stranded boat that obviously had been derelict for a while, somewhere in Great Britain. I don't know. That's where the whole site is based, is in Great Britain. So I posted all this stuff up there, and a woman from British Columbia got on there and she said, "Oh, you've got this one for sale. I'm gonna go and buy it." And I went onto Etsy and bought it. It was the first thing as a watercolor artist I had ever sold. Now I don't know why this line here, it's just a painted line, would cause any rust like that to form, but it obviously has, because I can see it right there. It obviously has, so there it is. But this has been there for a while. It's kind of a creaky tiki. It's seen better days for sure, and it's got some serious rust around it. So I'm just trying to show that that's happened. And as I move up to the front, gotta be a little less and a little less, or a little lighter and a little lighter. You shouldn't be able to see it all that well over that shadow, over that dark shadow. Should be really hard to see once you get there. Maybe I'll force a little bit around those. I say you shouldn't be able to see any, and then I continue to put it on there. Yoki Toast. I love the name. It looks incredible. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. It's getting there. It's getting there. We still got a little ways to go, but I think that rust on the side really has helped bring it together a little bit. You know what? I'm going to put a little bit of red in the water here too. I'm going to pull a little bit of that down. Why would there not be a little bit of that rust color in that water? There should be some of that in there. Shoot, something like that. Why not, right? Reflected light in that shadow. Yoki Toast, are you a watercolor painter? Or are you just watching to see the process? What has brought you here this evening? I guess is my real question. Thank you for coming. Thank you even more for contributing, though. Really, I greatly appreciate that. But on top of that, I'm curious. I like when new people show up in the stream, so I'm glad you showed up. I'm glad you said something. But now that you did, I'm going to call on you. Sorry about that. And I'm just thinking about what I want to do next. Not a lot more I want to do. We don't have a whole lot of waves on the water. I might be willing to let these sit there. Maybe it's a calm day. Maybe it's in a back bay somewhere, but I've definitely got to get the railing on here, so I want to do that. Let me mix up some colors here. I think we can just kind of mishmash a whole bunch of these colors at this point in time, and I think we'll just end up with something that's mostly a gray color. Totally got the wrong brush for mixing, that's for sure. If I leave it a little bit more on the red side over here, that'll be good, because hopefully it'll be a little bit on the rusty side. But let's see what we got here. I And then there might be a little bit of final cleanup work that we have to do, but we'll get to that in just a second. Let's see, this one goes here, here, here. That one can be a little bit darker just so it's able to be seen. Did that help? That helped a little bit. I like that. Oh, we got this big conning tower up here. Let's put that on. That should start somewhere in here. Something like that. I don't know. We have some other things back here. Let's get a little bit of this color on here. Yoki toast. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's come up here. Oh, I've drawn these on in weird places. I guess it doesn't matter. They could be falling out. Some of these aren't right. There we go. Dwayne is here. Happy New Year. So thankful the stream isn't over yet. So that's funny, Dwayne. We were talking about it, that everybody's email address came in, or everybody's username came in right, and then you came on and yours is still not right. We thought they were all had been kind of reset to what they were before. Interesting. Hey, I'm glad you're here. I hope you had a fantastic holiday season. I hope you got to spend some time with some loved ones. Ooh, there you go. I think that railing helps sink this in a little bit. I like it. I like the railing. So a year ago, 2 years ago, well, maybe not a year ago, but a while ago, I would have been so afraid to put that railing in. I would have said to myself, I can't do it because if I put that railing in, it's going to cover something up. It's going to cover up that whole thing. Right? Everything's going to get covered up. And now I guess I've watched a little bit more Bob Ross. I'm like, yeah, I think it can cover it up. I think it needs a big tree right about here. Chook, 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 chook. I watch him and he's just just no fear about painting some things sometimes. I actually think this is turning out pretty good. So I think, if I'm going to do a little critique here, I think there needed to be more here. I know I put that extra layer of shadow in here, and I think it wasn't enough. We know that this and this are set upon this because of this shadow here, but I think there needed to be more of one down here to push it back into the painting a little bit more. The railing helps, but I think it could have done more. Natalie says the rust is looking cool. I actually do. Some of this rust dripping down the side and that little bit that's leaching into the water, I think looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty cool. Let's put something else up here. Maybe there's something else up here. I don't know. So I will admit to having been watching some Tim Wilmot. You guys know he's one of my favorites, and he likes to, at the end, just add little doodahs and bits here and there that he thinks, and I think rightfully so. Yeah, I don't know what I want to set in it. I don't know if I want to do anything. It really helps to set a lot of things off in his painting, and so I'm going to try to, as I'm trying to loosen up a little bit, I'm going to be doing a bit more of that going along. But I don't know if I can do too much of it right now. I think it would scare me to death if I did a little bit too much of it. Okay, I think I'm pretty close to done here. I'm gonna leave it sit here for a second. Actually, this is still wet. This is still drying, so all of this is gonna lighten up a little bit more even. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, do I need to do anything else? Is there anything else I really need to do? Or is this enough on this painting? And I guess I could go over a little bit of these things. Redarken these. Lots of window there. You know what? Let's give it a little something written right there. I don't want to do too much line work. I like to do a little. Having done some looser paintings in the past, I do like to do some line work, but I don't want to do too much line work because sometimes it just ends up looking like you're outlining everything, and I don't want to look like I'm outlining too much. I want you to be able to think about some of it, or your brain to try to interpret some of it on its own rather than me prescribe what things should look like in there. So I'm gonna try to stop myself a little bit, just a little bit. And I think I'm gonna, unless you guys are saying the rust is, Natalie says the rust is looking good. Kenny says it looks great. Unless you guys are gonna say I need to do something else, I'm gonna probably sign this right here and call that good. And I think to start, actually I like that. The more I'm looking at it, I look at it here and I look at it up there to see. I actually rather like this. I like that. Where's my pointer brush? I like our rocks. First and foremost, I love our rocks. The rocks are bold. The rocks are dramatic. The rocks have their own shadow. They look like they're set in the water. I love the rocks. Even up here on the beach, they have their own shadow. They look great. They're set in place. They're rocks, right? These aren't moving for anything. I know why the boat crashed, because it hit one of these big things that's sticking out of the water. Now, if I had to nitpick a little bit, I think, and I know these are closer, but I think these overpower that a little bit. I think I should have toned this down just a little bit more like this. All right, less like the, I love this. I love this. But I think they should have been more like this. If they're more of this strength, that looks more natural. Looks better. Having said that, that's a nitpick. That's a me looking at it, trying to find something wrong with it. The shrubbery, the tree, the whatever back here, I don't have a problem with that. I think it looks fantastic. It's got some interest to it. It's just enough detail that you know it's some kind of greenery, some kind of tree or bush or something like that. And it helps to anchor it on the land. If I don't have that there, then this becomes like a little spit of land that sticks out. This side, nothing there, doesn't matter. Open ocean, rest of the world, something like that. This side, it needs to be on land somehow. That helps it. That little bit helps it right there. I love the red in the water here. A little bit of reflected light, maybe a little bit of the rust from that. And then how that rust, and it's on our reference photo. I thought I could do it, and in some places it's a little better, but I like, it's just kind of slowly coming down. There's some rivulets of it that are coming down, but you know it's a rust. You look at it, you don't have to think about it. It's a rusty boat. So I'm actually kind of happy with it. I'm I'm glad I did this. I'm going to do something nautical next week. I don't know if I can do the penguin next week, but we'll do something. This will be kind of a nautical month, and then we'll see where we go from there. So I think that's all I've got for you all tonight. Thank you all for joining me. I don't know if I can go through everybody. Dwayne, Kenya, Natalie, Sudike, Yoki Toast, Kenya, Mr. Federal. Is that everybody who chimed in? I think that's everybody who chimed in. Anybody else who was here, thank you so much for joining me for this first Watercolor Wednesday of 2026. I'm looking forward to doing some fantastic paintings. Like I said, look for some traditional videos to come out this year too. We're going to continue to do this, and we're going to have some real fun with watercolor painting this year. Thank you all. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Hope you're able to join me back here next week when we do this all over again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.